Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Game on Cloud 9 here, and I'm here to bring you guys a new Bleach chapter 513 prediction. And in this week's new Bleach chapter, it really kind of threw me off in the beginning. I mean, the end part was pretty simple to understand, but the very first page, I believe, where we saw this guy, the Shinigami, who ended up, I don't know if he broke through the barrier or what, but he ended up approaching one of these Quincy's, and we saw how he said that it took him a long time to get through this side. I'm just wondering, who is that? I mean, I don't ever recall seeing him in the Goatee 13, so I'm kind of wondering if he's a Royal Guard member. I mean, I could be wrong, I could be making an assumption, and maybe he's been floating around. He's been one of the Shinigami that we've seen maybe a couple times in Soul Society, and maybe I'm just not recognizing him. But I'm thinking that maybe the Royal Guard could have already known that Yamamoto has been defeated or has died, and maybe that ultimately is what the maybe involves the King's Key or something. Maybe Yamamoto's death somehow has a connection to this King's Key that alerts the Royal Guard or the Squad Zero. So hopefully, I mean, it is the Royal Guard, because I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing them make an appearance right now. Although I don't want it to move too fast paced where, you know, all of a sudden the Royal Guard come down and they start overwhelming the Vandenreich, because I really like how things are going with them right now. I kind of, in a weird way, I kind of like seeing the Quincy win right now. I know that may sound strange to a lot of you out there, but I kind of like that, because then it really makes you wonder how the Shinigami are going to end up coming out on top, and how this arc is going to evolve more and more over time. But this chapter revolves mostly around when Ichigo finally shows up. We don't see anybody else with him. We don't see Urahara with him. We don't see Grimmjow. We just see him and Bankai, and he ends up making an appearance to Byakuya. And of course, Byakuya, who I thought was straight up dead, but apparently he's still alive. Not for long, though. He pretty much says that, and he gives his final words. And honestly, it was kind of meaningful, because when you think about it, Byakuya had never asked Ichigo for help. He always talks about how he's a human, blah, blah, blah. Even though you see Byakuya change over the series, it's kind of weird to see Byakuya the one to actually say to him, Ichigo, please protect Soul Society. Like, as a dying request, he's asking that. And you know Ichigo is going to do it. I mean, I don't even think Byakuya needed to ask. Ichigo is already going to do it. It's Ichigo. So, of course, you know, we see Rukia and Renji are out. They're knocked out. They've been knocked out. You know, and we know now Ichigo is prepared to approach Juha straight up front. You know, everybody, all the Quincy in the Soul Society, you know, they're able to sense him. All the Shinigami are able to sense him. And then all of a sudden he makes an appearance. He throws his sword down the ground, appears right in front of Juha. And honestly, when we see Ichigo in that last panel standing there, it looked epic as hell. I mean, I like the way that panel was drawn that Kubo made. I mean, Ichigo standing there with his sword. Now, at this point, I can't see Ichigo really doing anything to Juha. I mean, I think he's honestly going to get thrown around a lot. I don't know who's going to come and help him out or save him from this mess. But I'm honestly thinking, since Juha's probably going to leave him alive, or maybe not leave him alive, but I think he's going to end up just retreating. So it may not really be a fight. Ichigo's probably going to try to attack him. And I could just see Juha maybe just kind of defending himself and blowing Ichigo off and ended up retreating, because that's pretty much his plan. I mean, he even said that they're still going to retreat. We saw Haschwald even ask, you know, hey, you know, or, like, do you want me to eliminate him? And he said, no, you know, we're leaving. So it looks like he's going to stick to his plan. He's not even going to try to fight Ichigo or encourage him in any sort of way. So next week's chapter, again, we'll probably actually see, maybe Ichigo will probably try to attack him a little bit. You know, it may actually be a little bit of a repeat of the scene where we saw Aizen and Ichigo fight for the first time, where we saw him stop his sword, cut him down real quick. I'm not saying that Ichigo isn't powerful, because Ichigo is probably at his current state as strong as he was with his visored mask on in Bankai in part 1 of Bleach. You know, my assumption is, since he has the little full-bring form on his Bankai, and, you know, not only that, but his Getsuga Tenshos, since the full-bring arc, seem a lot more powerful than they were if you compare them to be, like, when he first got his Bankai, or, you know, not even when he first got his Bankai, but any other time he used his Shikai earlier on in the series, it wasn't as strong until he got his powers back, where we see his Getsuga Tensho was immensely powerful. So definitely Ichigo probably won't be able to mess with Juha right now. He'll probably have a small confrontation. Juha will probably blow him off. Of course, after all this is done, we know Ichigo's first thing that he's going to do. I could definitely see Ichigo trying to regroup the Shinigami, and maybe they'll head to human world, and maybe that will end up, that's going to how they end up confronting Uryu and Ryukin, trying to find out, hey, what's going on with these Quincy's? Do you have any connection with them? Maybe even the Shinigami themselves won't trust Uryu or Ryukin. There's a good chance of that because they'll think you're Quincy's, you're the ones who planned this, you set us up, something along those lines. Or they may, like Kubo may take a perspective or take away that maybe the Shinigami will actually try to find weaknesses by asking Uryu and Ryukin, and they'll have a choice whether or not to actually end up telling them maybe the weaknesses of a Quincy. Of course, they'll be puzzled themselves probably about, the remainder of the Quincy. Maybe not Ryukin. Ryukin may probably, in fact, I'm pretty sure Ryukin knows more than what he probably lets on about the Quincy. Nobody's asked him about it, so maybe, he'll hint to like, oh yeah, there was a group of Quincy that were over here in this area somewhere in the human world, or maybe, in some other dimension. But these are pretty much my thoughts on this week's chapter of Bleach. This is what I think is going to happen next week. Not everything that I just said, as far as I don't think that we're going to see Uryu and Ryukin next chapter, but I definitely think Ichigo's going to have a small confrontation with Juha. Juha's going to escape, and maybe at the end of the chapter, maybe we'll see Urahara and Grimmjow. I'm not sure, but I definitely think we're going to eventually see Ichigo try to regroup the Shinigami, check on his friends, and maybe they're going to start trying to find out a plan on what to do, and think about or consider asking Uryu and Ryukin what they should do, or find out what's going on. Anyway, thank you for watching this review / prediction. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to rate it. So if you liked it, put a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, you can put a thumbs down. The choice is yours. Also, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my videos and would like to see more. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.